Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you my latest obsession, and that is making clusters to fill pages. This is my latest junk planner, and as you can see, I've started it. Today's the 1st, and all I've gotten is my calendar done and a couple of things on my index, and lots of empty pages. So I've been finding when I work in my planner that it needs to be something that I work on throughout the month, that setting it up too early, I put decor where I probably should have left a journaling spot, and I want these to be just a little bit more organic. And my workaround with that was to have some ready-made clusters. Now, I made, the original idea is to make them big enough to fill a whole page. Let me get this again. So you have something like that, and you want to just pop that on there, you know, and fill the page. I realize I'm covering up all this wonderful text, but, you know, sometimes you just have to kind of figure things out as you go along. And yeah, so I'm just playing around with ideas. But one of the things that is also kind of really in the forefront of my mind is using up some of my supplies. I have a lot of stuff. And this is one of the things that I did last year to use up supplies. Now, I could recycle and I could throw away, and I don't. I wish, you know, I don't know why. I'm like, I could use that, right? And I think we all do that. And especially when you live in an area that the shopping is limited, you kind of want to try to, you know, hold on to things. But then you've got a lot of clutter, you know. But if you use them up in a way that you can actually reuse them, it's just finding the time and the energy to do it. It wears me out, just like it wears a lot of people out to get all these things done. But sometimes just sitting in front of your favorite video or television program, you can just get one of these things done. I'm not going to make this today because it's really super, you know, easily explained. Just a second. I've shown this process in one or two of my videos, but it's super easy. It's packing tape, paper packing tape, adhesive on one side, and you just lay down your pieces of paper. See, I missed a spot there. That's somewhere I can put another one of these smaller pieces. But on this particular one, what I tried to do was set my paper out a little bit and leave a space in the middle so that I had a larger snippet roll so that I could make some of these clusters, and it was ready made. Easy peasy, right? So today I'm going to show you how I'm making the clusters to fill my pages. But first I want to talk about some of the points of these. As far as like decor and design, right? So with these, this is one that I have finished, and I just want to point out a few things. This is the background, right? This colorful one. Because I want to add color to the front, I've been adding, I have a lot of these left over from when I used to make and sell journals. I saved a lot of my library cards and tickets. Hold on a minute. Let me get, what happened to that? Oh, here it is. And these right here are some alternatives if you don't necessarily have a lot of these like I do. I collected them because I used to sell them in my shop. But these are from an old password game. You could use tickets. This one I gessoed. Library tags, library, whatever. Bingo cards, you can use these. This is a flashcard for school. A check, you know, as you can see from the early 20th century. And this one is an alteration ticket. I bought a bunch of these, I think from eBay. I have a bunch of those. Guest checks. So these are some of the things that you can use if you have them on hand for your background that sits, let's show you, just as a background, just kind of give you a kind of a not an empty space, but a plainer space with all this color going on, just a place for your eyes to rest, right? And then you can build from there, adding more neutrals or more color, however you want to do it, right? So that's the first layer. And then from there, I'll grab just maybe some scrapbook paper or digital paper. I add a doily. This one I tea-dyed because the yellow was really, really crazy. And then from that point, you kind of just start building your layers. Now, the point that I wanted to make with these, the reason why I went this route is because my journals have been getting really, really thick with all the embellishments. Not only is it nice to have kind of a quick, easy place to grab something and fill a page, but I'm also really trying hard to make my pages a little thinner in my junk planner. In my other journals, I don't care. I can have lots of texture, lots of bulk, but because I really have been using the heck out of my planners, I really needed to come up with a different plan on that. Let me show you some of the finished ones. So this is a digital Wendy Dorf. I don't remember the name of her shop, but it's an Etsy shop. I love her. Digitals are so bright and vibrant, right? And then this right here is an ad from one of my magazines, and I sewed it onto a file folder. Yeah, I sewed it onto a file folder, and then I glued it onto some vintage wallpaper, and then I, built it up from there. A playing card, another library card. Yeah, library card, yeah. It's just that they're so thin they don't feel like a card because it's just paper. But yeah, library card. And then a digital from Tracie Fox, and then just some odds and ends. These are just bits and pieces that I've collected that I need to use. And so I'm sure you've heard me say that before, but I'm saying it again. I need to get to working and use some of this stuff. And then I have, I can just grab them, and if it works on that page, great. I love this squirrel. So this is another Wendy Dorf. This is Tracie Fox, Luise Heinzl, and yeah. So let me show you some of these. I was working really hard on these yesterday, and I just really want to show them to you because I'm going to inspire you to get out some of your supplies and make some of these. Now, I realize that not everybody has black doilies. I've been collecting doilies for a lot of years. These I bought probably 10 years ago at Michael's, right? But I have them, and I want to use them. So just digital from Plaza, ShabbyDabbyDoDah. Yeah, and this one, another Luise Heinzl. So I'm not going to go through every one of the, most of my digitals are from the same shops over and over again. So I'll go ahead and put links in my description of the shops that I go to the most. And then you can browse and maybe come up with some of your own ideas, right? A small one. I thought this could be on a tuck spot or even on a belly band. So some of these are small. I like that one. It's got a lot of dark. I like the pink. This one's one of my favorites. I just absolutely love this one. But this is from one of the snippet rolls that's just a little bit thinner. I have a whole box of these that I made. I narrowed it down. You wouldn't believe how much I used for this project. A flower. This is cut from a scrapbook paper. Just some digitals. This is from Tim Holtz scrapbook paper. I thought those were super cute. Just a little label, doily. And all these colors, I wanted to have lots of different looks, lots of different colors. This is kind of the colors theme scheme that I'm going with in my March junk planner. So that's why I did these colors, because these are the colors that I'm working with in that journal. And then I just kind of went to town and just started grabbing and organizing all of my bits and pieces so that they were easy to put together. Oops. And then I have a bag full of birds. And I thought, wow, that rooster actually looks really good on there. And that's kind of quirky. That's the one thing about chickens and roosters. They just kind of give you that farm, I don't know, maybe cartoon vibe. I don't know. This one's pretty. I like this one. This is a lot of Tim Holtz, a little bit of Luise Heinzl. And so on some of these, I'm going a little bit, you know, kind of fallish colors. So I can save those for the fall. This one was interesting. When I had made this one, I wasn't paying attention too much to kind of the sizes I was using. So I threw a doily on the back of that, and it kind of brought the whole thing, you know, a little bit more square or rectangle, you know, squared it up. I love this one. I've had this from a children's book for so long, and I just absolutely couldn't let go of it. And I ended up making something fun for Easter, I think. Something a little fallish. Another one this is the other side of that bunny. I just love it. And then something I just kind of threw together with some bits and bobs. So I cut a lot of my florals from, I had collected a lot of scrapbook paper with florals on it, and then I cut them out. And a lot of times, especially with a flower this size, you'll get it from the side of your page. So I have quite a few florals that don't have the full flower, and so I just put stuff over it, and it's just kind of coming out. So I'm loving that. So now I'm going to kind of run through a little bit of how I organize all my bits and pieces. In the back here, I have my focal points. Here are more of those ads. Look at Bing Crosby. Check that out. On wallpaper, my vintage wallpaper. And then I have some pictures that I've collected through the years, and I just printed them. What I did was I scanned the pictures, and then I printed them up so this is how I do it. I adhere the pictures onto cardstock, and I have them in a file. And then when I want to and then I scan them into my computer, so I don't have to keep rescanning. So I have a bunch of these photos on the cardstock scanned into my computer, and then I can print them up 2 to a page, and then they come out super small like that, and that's a great focal point. I love that. ShabbyDabbyDoDah. I love these little roses. Yeah. So I do ink the edges just because my cutting, you know, fussy cutting isn't what it should be. I think this one might be Luise Heinzl right here from her shop, and I'm pretty sure this one is from Tracie Fox. More ShabbyDabbyDoDah. These I think may be 7 Plaza, and these right here, of course, are Tim Holtz right here. Hold on, I'm sorry. Tim Holtz right here, and these I am not sure. If this is these might be from Junk Journal Shop, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought I'd have those. But having a nice selection of the larger focal points, I highly recommend. Get them organized where you can find them all. And then these are just, I like the way these pages looked, and I didn't want to just get rid of them. And here's one of my larger fussy cut florals that I'll put behind an image sometimes. So here I have more kind of backgrounds that I use, like on something like this, where I have, you know, I like to let the bird and the florals kind of show up, and then kind of bring my my focal point up a little bit. But yeah, those are nice backgrounds. These are things that are just pieces that I'll slide in behind the paper, and then just some more kind of background pieces. I have them organized as far as size. So some smaller bits and pieces here, kind of medium, more medium. So that's how I organize. And then these are my tiny bits that I can't seem to let go of. And I like to hold on to, a lot of times when I'm using my doilies, I will tear them in half just because you're not going to see the whole thing. So why waste them? I know I'm trying to use stuff up, but you know, still, I don't want to waste, right? And then this is another organization that I have that is, hold on, let me get these out of the way real quick. These are my tiny bits. These are kind of the end of, you know, once I've got the whole cluster, done. Let me grab one. Kind of the end pieces that I add, like a little tag or a butterfly or a little floral piece right here, or tags, right? Labels, these little round bits, oopsie, little floral bits here, you know, my smaller florals, little butterflies, all that kind of stuff I have in here. And then stamps, tapes. I like to use these tapes. These are some of my larger labels that I'll kind of, you know, sometimes I don't glue everything completely down, so I can maybe slip a little label in there or something like that. And then sometimes I'll put a little tape here and there just for a little accent. I haven't done that on this one yet, but what I'll do is I'll make a bunch of these. So the base of these, they're not decorated. It's just using some of my stuff up, using my snippet rolls up. And then later on, I'll go back over and I'll add these smaller bits to kind of give that layering look and make it look like it's a finished product. So let me get everything organized and let's make some of these together. Okay, I'm going to start with this colorful one here, because right now I'm loving color. So I want to, if it's a thinner area here, I kind of want to like move it over either this way and then maybe put a doily there, or just use this maybe a smaller background. I haven't used one of these yet. I've had it for over a year and I still haven't used it. And I've not used one of these yet. I think I'm going to try this one just to see what I can come up with. Let's see. I don't know. I feel like those could go together really well. Yeah, let's try that. And so I'm working with, you know, there's a lot going, I feel like there's a lot going on here, and I don't know if I want something dark. I don't know, like that. Let me grab my container and see if there's something. These have been surprising me. How bright they are. Oh, look at that. I like that. I might want to bring that down a little bit because I like this. I think I like that. So what I'm going to do is get an idea of where I want to tear that off. I've got this right here. I need to put something there. So just going to tear quality control. I thought I had that taken care of, but clearly not. But all it takes is another little piece of paper. Say from, I wonder if that'll work. Let's keep that here. Yeah, let's just glue that. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Hold on. Okay. There. Yeah, that was a lot of glue. Came out kind of fast. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of this. I think it would look a little bit better. Just for a little contrast. So I like to kind of distress my my doilies a bit. And I understand that that will cause a little bit of bulk on my cluster, on my page. But I've been finding that I just don't like the way it looks unless I've done that. So I think that's about right. And I like to, you know, I'm not going along the sides here because I might want to tuck. I'm not averse to peeling a bit of that back to get something tucked under there. And I usually try to leave a little bit of my thread when I'm sewing these on. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave that just in case I want to tuck something in there. So one of the things that I've been doing that when I make clusters, I really struggle with all my pieces being straight. Like you can see that I didn't get that one straight, right? And there's a line that I could have used. So it's kind of a frustration for me to do that. You know, when I look at it on my page, I see that I'm crooked, and it's not something I want. So, but having a lined surface to kind of get everything straightened on your project, and especially on these clusters where you've got all these jagged edges, it is a bit of a struggle. Okay, let's go to the next layer. So this is the base. This is how I get my base going. Let's get something else on here. Now I'm thinking some of these larger pieces, these are all from different shops. I've purchased some new containers to organize them. But I don't know if I want something colorful or if I want, let's see. I keep going with pink for some reason, so I'm just going to stick with that. But I think I want to have it like this. Just to kind of take the edge off of this, you know, to kind of, a lot of corners going on. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some glue just down inside of there, just to hold everything before I put this on. Yeah. Okay. Now, other than just maybe a bird or a butterfly or a flower, let's grab my little muffin tin and see if there's anything in here that might work. Let's see. So I have this little flower here. That might work. It's kind of blending into the background there a little bit more than I would like. This guy is kind of big, but it kind of draws your eye up a little bit. Let's try one of these. It's just some green, but it might be light enough to kind of soften some edges. Like I said, it's kind of blending. I'm wondering if flowers are just not the right choice here. Let's see what else we have. I have a few of these. Here's some lavender. I think that might need to go down there. I wanted to have some lavender kind of to bring this down here a little bit. Then we have, yeah, let's just do that. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel, you know, I like that, but it's I don't know, there's something about it that's just kind of not working for me. What else could I put there that might bring that dragonfly kind of out a little? I'm running out of room. Let me clear up real quick. There, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I'm wondering if I have maybe a large postage stamp with some color. Let's see. I don't want to cover this up, and I keep bringing things in that's covering this right here up. Ooh, purple. What's with me in purple today? You know what I think I want to do? I think I want some tissue. Just a little bit of tissue. White tissue behind there. Let's see if this tissue might kind of just give it a little something extra up there. Huh. Well, still not working for me. How about, let's see if just a little bit of color and contrast. I just like, I don't know why, I just really like the dragonfly. Yeah, let's just do that. Is that right? I think that's about right. Okay. Now I would like to also bring up a really good point that Tony at Crafty by Tony, her channel, she talked a lot about this the other day when she was making clusters. She mentioned that having everything prepped beforehand was key. And I want to bring that up here too, because I just realized that this butterfly, I cut him out beforehand. I inked the edges beforehand. Many of these elements have been, of course, fussy cut, prepped, this focal image prepped. And so it's really important when you start this process to have everything as prepped as you possibly can, so that you're just grabbing stuff and you're being creative. The whole idea here is to be creative, to have something fun that you can put into one of your journals, or this would be really cute on the front of a card. This one's rather big for a greeting card, but many of the ones that I've made are a lot smaller. I just wanted to try using one of these tags for this project, but having all of your bits and pieces ready and organized, like I buy, I'm pretty sure that these are Tim Holtz, or they also have these at the Dollar Tree. They have boxes like this that nest that you can use. That's super easy. I don't know if they're in a set or if you have to buy them separately, but you can purchase these at the Dollar Tree. So having all of your items cut, prepped, and organized as far as size. You can buy plastic containers. There's all different ways of doing this. I just wanted to have on a video, have it present a little bit nicer than a bunch of plastic. So, that's kind of key. It's very key, actually, to have all of your items prepped and ready to go. And kind of, hold on. Also to have make a few of your own mock-ups of how you want the layers to go and how, you know, how you want things to look on your project. And it's because I'm in the middle of this, making this video, I keep referring back to one of my previous clusters, like, what did I do next? What's the next step? Because even you know, you're in front of the TV or you're listening to an Audible book or something, or an audio book, whatever, and you know, you kind of lose track a little bit. You kind of need to bring yourself back to, okay, I skipped a step, or what's the next step, that kind of thing. So it's being organized and being prepped is really super key. So I feel like this one's done. There's a couple of places here and there that I might want to add a little bit of glue, but it's ready for a journal. Let's see what it looks like on a page. It might be kind of big, like I said. But I do have, and the option here is I could tear this back a little bit. But yeah, for a bigger journal, perfect. And I'm going to go grab something. So one of the things that I was thinking about when I was putting these together is how great these would be for, you know, just sticking on the front of a card. Now, this one right here, I would put another piece of paper back behind it, but just to show you what I'm talking about as far as mass making these and having them on hand, it's not just about your art journals or your junk journals. They make great toppers for greeting cards, thank you cards, birthday cards. So I just wanted to share that real quick. So let's make a couple more. I don't want this. Oh, and I wanted to show you this too. It's a little bit big for this, but this is a pocket that I made out of a file folder. I'm going to probably sew this down the sides on this, but that would be really cute for a tuck or a pocket if you make small ones. And even smaller for this. I don't know if that'll, I'm sure I have a smaller one. Maybe this size. I don't know, even that one's kind of big. But I also have quite a few of the little pieces. Sometimes I'll have end pieces, like maybe one of my clusters is too long and I'll tear a piece off. You can throw that on there and then you can just throw a, you know, a bird, a postage stamp, an image. That's not gonna work. You know, just a little something, you know, just to give it a little extra, right? So keep your little pieces when you tear them off. Here, let's grab that. Let's see. Here. Let's just do it. Making clusters out of what you have left over, out of leftovers. Why not? Cute little pocket. Now, does it want a flower or does it want... I think it wants a flower. I love this flower. It's so pretty. There's something about bulbulous allium type flowers I just love. There we go. All right. So decorated a quick pocket, right? All right, let's do one more. Because I don't want this video to go too much into overtime. Been dying to use this. So let's see if I can build a cluster around the shoes. So here's something with a little bit of red in it. Bingo card. You know what? I'm just going to stick with that. And I think what I want to do is use one of my neutral snippet rolls. It might be kind of thin for this. Let's see, what else do I have? Seems like oh, here. This one's a little thicker. Let's use this one. Yeah, I like this one. It's got some vintagey looking images on it. So with this one, I feel as if this bingo card's wide. And so, let's see if I can just tear it down the middle. And what I was thinking is maybe if I do this with it, I could stay within my little thing here. I've got my, I want to use this because of this vintage image. So I'm just going to go ahead and tear that off because that was falling off. All right, let's see what we can do with a bingo card, a game card. Let's see. Sometimes I like my clusters to be not as many colors, just maybe a couple of colors, you know, maybe 2 to 3. And so I'm going to grab some neutrals and see if this, I don't want to be too, too much just red and white, but right now that's where I'm going with this. Let's see. I want this a little higher because that edge coming in is bothering me. Let's see. Let me see if some of these images, I wonder if any of these images will work. Ladies' shoes. I feel like this gal here might work. I don't want to cover up all that password, right? This is a bit weird. Hold on, let me get that off of there. Okay. Sometimes I'll either cut these with scissors or tear them. My tearing isn't what it should be, so sometimes those sharp edges really bug me. So I'll just kind of snip them. It's okay if they're just cut. All right, let's put this back together. So first thing I'll do is I'll put all my pieces on here just to get the idea of positioning. Sometimes I'll even take a picture with my phone just to see if I like the way it looks. Put this there. It's hopefully not looking too Christmassy. I think if I add flowers or something with these colors, maybe with some other colors added to it, that might work out. So I'm liking this. One of the things I'm not really digging is the fact that I don't see much of that doily. So what did I do wrong here? Let's see if, yeah, okay, let's do it that way. You can still see the password on there. So let's glue this down.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. I can't believe you love me. I just feel so lucky. Still can't believe you love me.
Okay, as you can see, I know I can see that this guy right here is a little bit crooked. But if I try to tear that off and fix it, I will be up the creek. So he might have to get sacrificed. I can still see a little bit there, but I'm kind of thinking maybe a flower. I didn't ink the edges on. I did, well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You don't have to ink all the edges all the time. I think it looks good enough, so. Let's get that guy on there. And then we're going to be pulling some of that green up from my wallpaper up into the page up here. Sometimes I'll flip them and hit them with my brayer, but I don't have my brayer here at my desk, so I'm just going to press to make sure that all of the glue is getting to as many of the layers as I can. And I realize it's kind of long, but like I said, I have some larger journals that I could use that with. So let's take a look at some embellishments. Let's see. I think this one would be the best bet for embellishments. This is where I got my little flower. So let's see. Ooh, I wonder if that would work somewhere. You know, just as a little, bringing in some of that color down into the cluster. Now I know that, like I said before, this seems like a lot of work at first glance, but it's really just the creative process. And this is something when you have it in a tray. I purchased this tray from Amazon, and it came with a bunch of cute pieces that went with it. So it kind of, and I flip it and I use the bottom to work off of. So there's lots of different ways of taking your projects to another room to work on them. So let's see. And so that makes the project, you know, you make a bunch of these, and then you have all this fun stuff to grab a hold of when you're ready to put them into your project. Ready to go. All right. Let's see. I like it. I have a lot of these small bits that need a home, and I'm liking, you know, kind of layering on the flower, kind of bringing it back a little bit into the background. It's a cute flower, but I feel like I want something up here, and that's always a good spot for a butterfly. So I'm trying not to do all red. I'm having a hard time not grabbing red, but I'm going to keep grabbing it. Yeah, red's not going to work. I feel like if I had, ooh, here's a green one. Here, let's see if a green butterfly. Yeah, let's just do that. I struggle with overthinking, so it's nice to sometimes just go with your gut. Don't go with your brain, go with your gut. All right. Well, when you're creating, go with your brain when you're driving. Okay, let's see. I like it. Okay, that's gonna do it for me. I really, you know, I really like that. I think that's gonna work. And it's fun to be able to use some of this stuff, you know, using up your supplies, using up your, you know, ephemera. So yeah, I hope you like this video. I hope you liked my my cute little projects. Like I said, oh my gosh, these are so big now. But yeah, I hope you like this video. I hope you like this project, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
I hope it never ends. Let's be more than friends.